Everyone can do science. It's nothing more than just playing with rules, which is what a game is. What iScientist is, it's a space in which to teach young people not only about science, but also about themselves. What's special about this lab is that this lab sits in the Science Museum. It's a real lab. This is not about demonstration, it's real research happening. But it's real research happening by non-scientists, in this case, 20 young people.
A big part of our vision was to create an experience that gave the children a sense of their talents and the choices that they have in life. So, welcome to iScientist, and it's really exciting to have you here. First of all, because this is an amazing space in the Science Museum.
How many people think science must be hard? Before you came here, someone said, is science hard or difficult? How many people would say it was hard? I think science is easy. In fact, I think science is something that we all do all the time. The only difference really between games and science is that in games, the aim is to win. In an odd way, the aim of science is to lose, because you only ever learn if you make a mistake. It's only by getting something wrong that you actually learn something in science.
You know, what's really exciting to me about this is you take some really important principles. In this particular case, we're doing it around the theme of science and the fact that science is about asking questions and then it's about testing possibilities. But the learning they're getting isn't just about the process of science. They're learning about themselves. They're learning about themselves as social creatures. You know, they're learning that learning can be fun. 3, 2, 1.
Why do you think it's important to maybe draw football in this way? Why do you think it's important to draw the tube map in a way that's different from what it really is?
Well, I'm drawing a map of all the different levels in the Science Museum.
There was a sort of exhibition thing back there about how time changed, so and using that branding, I sort of did like a flowing river, how it changes from like that and to eventually like that time.
What I'd like you to do is to create your own game. So I want you to think about creating your own puzzle or your own game for people to solve. It's about putting them into a space of uncertainty, into a space of unknowing, but to be very comfortable in that space. Because it's only in that space that we can actually truly make new stuff and discover new things. Tell me some natural patterns that you see all the time. Yeah, Charlie.
Blades of grass.
Blades of grass is a pattern. What else?
Long lines.
Long lines. Where have you seen long lines?
In the trees.
In the trees. Brilliant. I like that. Now, there's the same number of small and large circles over here, but now, would you say that's a pattern? Yeah, so what's different about this side versus that side? There's relationships in the image on the right. Here are some patterns. Now listen to it and look at it, and this is in India.
Do you think a notebook has anything to do with science? Having a notebook is something very, very scientific. Imagination is more important than knowledge, and logic will get you from A to B, but imagination will take you everywhere. Mr. Einstein also said, anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new.
What we'd like you to do is to create a pattern, create a story in your school, in your group. You could pick the drawing you like best, cut it out, and see where it fits with the others. You could just pick some out of chance and just pick 10 or 15 or 20. You could cut some out, turn them over, and pick them up at random and see what sort of a story or a pattern you can make out of that.
long time ago, a tornado occurred, which turned out all the lights, making a power cut. The tornado then travelled to the right side, which merged with another storm. A grand fairy then appeared with a magic wand that turned glasses into guns.
We want you to go into the space thinking more about what it sounds like. The different sounds of the toys, the big contraptions, but also the people. And what you're going to do is you're going to make a drawing of those sounds. What to you would be the difference in these two sounds? What's really important for us is this will be a thread that continues on to get them to think about the fact that if you become an active player in the process of making meaning, you can actually then have choice, you can have creativity, you can have compassion, but without that, you just respond. I was walking around, but I had a microphone with me. See if you recognize anything. When you hear it like that, it sounds like it's almost chaos, yeah? And yet your drawings aren't chaos. You have some patterns in there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take your sketches and we're going to turn them into a drawing, but the drawing is going to be on a black t-shirt, which is going to be yours, and you're going to put colors onto this, and you're going to recreate your experience of there in sound. You can turn that into an image. And then, what's amazing, we're going to take that image and we're going to turn that into music. So we're going to take sound, make a visual image, and turn it back into sound. Increasingly, we want, through this process, that the children start leading more than us leading. And that's actually quite uncomfortable in a way, because it's much easier if you're in control and you've got everything mapped out. So rather than having everything mapped out, what was going to happen at 9, 10, 11, we instead had more of a framework of what was going to happen. And the topic of the day was asking questions. And in particular, the idea of asking the question, why? And what is required if you're going to ask that question, which is curiosity, a sense of wonder. And then once you've asked the question why, you then have to start thinking about possible answers or possibilities. And that requires imagination. This game is the beginning of an experiment, okay? So we haven't played this. We have no idea what's going to happen. It might be rubbish. It might be really good.
You are going to be blindfolded and you're going to listen to sounds and follow them. And your friends are going to stand in a shape and you're going to try and imagine what the shape looks like. How are they standing there?
Now, you have to draw two things. The path that you walked and the shape that you think the 4 points make. I'll give you that clue. Brilliant. Is that more or less the right shape? Yes. Yes! We're going to get into the same shape, but she's going to have to walk differently. She's not going to walk around the edges. She's going to walk across. Very difficult. Well done. What I want you to do first is draw the 4 points. And then you're going to draw the shape that it makes and the path that you took between them. Very good. That's brilliant. That's incredibly good. Look at that. Put your name on that one. Why does this one look less like it's shaped than that one? That's your observation. You're really curious, you made that observation. We've now, Catherine's asked the question why, okay? So why?
When someone says you're going to be walking a shape, you think square, triangle, rectangle, but then you come across a really hard one.
The first person do their shape, which was the square, you have that shape in your mind, so you get confused. You think, oh, I'm going to do a square now.
Okay.
But no, it's different, so you get confused. I used to think science was, if you don't get it right, everything's a right and a wrong answer, but science is exploring the mind, and I've learned a whole new things about it.
I thought it'd be sort of like quite straightforward with like coats and sort of like big goggles and like having to do like that, but it's actually more fun because it's sort of like you can do, like it's completely different, you can do whatever you want to, it's sort of like you control the whole thing rather than basically sitting down like write this, write that.
Yeah. I've realised since I've been here that you can't really get anything wrong. It's your ideas. It's about having a go and taking risks and just seeing really where you end up. And that's what I like about this project.